welcome to Stargeekz. Last week we were off. I don't even know why we were off. We just know everybody was sick. But this is
I
Sean.
was.
Welcome to Stargeekz.
This is Lil,
And this is Ed.
and Steve's not here with us tonight because he's at home crying because Ed beat him in golf last week in our weekly Friday night PGA Tour of the Masters or Play to the Masters, whatever the hell the game's called.
Yeah,
and
he
Ed
did
beat
get
him.
beat.
Ed beat him. The undefeated Steve. Steve, no matter where you're playing, Steve always rallies and wins. I wasn't there, so I didn't get to see that, but Ed filled me in, and Ed might
I'm the
never
new
play
guy.
again. Yeah, that's true. You are the newest, and you stormed the castle.
Congratulations to you.
Ed. Steve's taking L's these last few weeks. I'm just saying.
Oh, he'll be on next week then. Well, I mean, this week we got some news because we didn't get a chance to talk last week about the news. And Ed, I'll bring up your little slideshow that I usually.
Yeah, some of these are a week old, but Samuel L. Jackson was off talking about whatever he was at the moment. And, once you're in Star Wars, whenever you do an interview, Star Wars comes up. So they got to talking to him, and he says that he would like a Mace Windu Disney Plus show. And as he says right here, he's not dead. That was in his interview in the Empire magazine. So I don't know. What do you think? Did Mace Windu actually die when he was thrown out a high story window on Coruscant?
No, because we've seen these people jump out of everywhere doing all this stuff. I mean,
people get cut in half and come back. Come on, man.
I mean, I think Qui-Gon's been the only weak one. He gets stabbed once, and everybody gets stabbed once. And
I'm actually surprised. I'm surprised they haven't brought him back. That actually kind of boggles me why they haven't.
There's been a big gap, right? So they would have to do an old man Mace Windu storyline where he's traveling, and they've already done a lot. So I don't think there's been time for it. Plus, I mean, I know Sam Jackson wants to do it, but we saw him in Captain Marvel when they de-aged him trying to run around like a young man, and he wasn't running around like a young man in that movie.
No, he was definitely.
You could see a de-aged 70-year-old dude running around, and I love Sam Jackson. Nothing but respect. I love having him every time I see him in anything, even the terrible Secret Invasion. I loved him. It's just, do I want a Mace Windu show? Sure, it'd be fantastic. I would enjoy it. I would enjoy seeing a scarred Jedi not following the ways of the Jedi.
Well, that'd be interesting. I mean, I love him in almost everything he's in. I love the character of Mace Windu. But there'd be some explaining to do with, all this time after the Jedi Purge, we were always led to believe that, okay, there's only a couple left. So you've got Luke, you've got Ben. Oh, nope, here's Yoda. But now we're finding out there's Jedi freaking everywhere.
Yeah, they're all scattered around, right?
That's the thing. That's why to me, it wouldn't matter. And they don't have to explain it, right? Because they've already explained that there's Jedi everywhere and they all run and hide like a bunch of bitches. So they get beat and then they go cry. They take their ball and they go home. So I don't know.
You are the biggest hater I've ever
seen. Well,
it's true.
Phantom Menace is returning to the theaters this year.
I didn't hear this until just now.
I heard about it, and I do not care.
Will they give me an edited cut without the pod racing? Then I'd go see it.
The pod racing wasn't that bad, though.
No, I didn't mind that.
Every time I watch it, for some odd reason, I get this migraine. It's with the sound effects. It just drives me nuts. And
it's that that
it
just beats your head. Yeah. No, I get that. I like the atmosphere and going to the theater. If I have the time, I'm going to try to make a point of going. But I would love to see.
Is it one day?
It's maybe just a weekend. I mean, they say May 3rd. Maybe it is just a single day. That will make it interesting if I can get there.
It's not May the 4th, so I mean, Maybe it won't be the weekend, right? I don't know. Is May 3rd fall on?
They'll probably play it the whole weekend. I mean, I don't know. I could see
Yeah.
It's a Friday, so I bet you're right. I bet it's the weekend.
there's a lot of younger fans that grew up during this time who love these fucking prequels. I have no love for them. I do enjoy them, but I don't.
Well, it's why this series is having a renaissance now, right? Like it's they're old enough to spend money. This was their Star Wars. It's always going to be like that.
Yeah, so it's like what? I guess what are those millennials? I guess I'm not even sure.
I don't know. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I would love to see this re-edited, kind of like the way they did the Obi-Wan series, where the person came in and really chopped it down and made a fantastic movie out of that series. But I mean, it's hard to do with this, but yes, there are parts of this. I know everybody hates Jar Jar. I'm not a fan, but it is so annoying. So
I never hated Jar Jar as much as everybody else did, but I think it was like his whole how they talk. You know what I mean? Like the whole it got annoying because you couldn't understand it completely all the time.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna go see this. It feels like Return of the Jedi or like
oh yeah.
Empire.
But again, those are your Star Wars films.
I know.
25 years later. So people in their 30s and stuff, like this is what they're gonna go see because this is their first movie.
Agreed.
It's just what it's gonna be. It's like again in 20 years time. The sequel trilogy will be people's love because they'll be the one that's their first introduction to Star Wars.
Yep. There you see, Ben Mendelsohn was on the circuit. Said that he has not been asked to reprise his role as Director Krennic in Andor. Okay, I mean it's Andor. It's not about Director Krennic. I mean,
the only person I care about at this point is coming back to this role is K2SO. That's all. That's all I want to see. I think that's all anybody wants to see at this point.
Everybody wants him in there.
Well, and this is leading to Rogue One, right? Like my guess is the end of this season is basically going to tie it directly to Rogue One. So Krennic wasn't really a part of that lead up, so it would feel out of place.
Yeah,
maybe Galen Erso, maybe I don't want to see any of those. Like to be honest, I don't want to see. I don't care about any of that. So
no,
it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. This is Andor's story as it leads up to Rogue One. That's all I need. I mean, if you want to give me,
and mind you, he was the most less interesting character in Rogue One I ever would have thought would have got a fucking show. Let's be honest. When they first said this, I was like, why? I was poo-pooing it at first. I was like,
you were. I remember. Like I think we all thought, like, why do we need this?
Why? Because nobody cared. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. In Andor, I mean, in Rogue One, I didn't give a shit about this dude. I was like, oh, he's kind of a dick. Like, I don't care about this guy. And now I care about this dude. Like, yo, I am deeply invested in his storyline now. It is crazy.
I think the best part, though, is it's not just him as the character. It's the world they've built around it. This story of the rise of the Empire, the downtrodden systems in the universe, how the rebellion is kind of starting to kind of spark in these communities. It's the whole story that makes this, and, the writing is amazing. So,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I cannot wait for this to come back.
Yeah, and I think production ended right on it. Am I wrong?
I think you guys said. You guys said that a couple weeks ago when we were talking about it.
Yeah. So we'll probably get a trailer May 4th, probably around that time.
Hopefully. This was good to hear because I don't think everybody expected that we were going to get the Acolyte this year.
Don't understand why we haven't gotten a trailer yet, though.
I know, especially because it was only a few hours ago that they added now we're looking at June 5th. So at first it was okay this summer. Now they're narrowing it down to a particular date. At least that's the word that's out. So
yeah, I don't like. We already got a Comic-Con trailer, and that was last summer. I'm confused by this. Like, why have they not shown it yet? Is there something wrong with it? I just don't get it because from what I've seen, the bootleg version, it looked pretty goddamn awesome. Like it was pretty dang cool. I was like, I'm kind of digging this. So
are there any events or anything in the next 30 days where they would use as an opportunity to drop a trailer, or is it just going to be something that's going to come out?
I mean, a little
I don't think there's
D23 or
no D23 is after the summer. It's in August.
Yeah.
Is it August? Okay. Then what do you have? Then what's the biggest con you have coming up after this? Is what? San Diego Comic-Con?
Yeah, which is in July.
Yeah. So that one, it's not there.
Yeah.
No,
May 4th?
You know what?
That's too close.
The only thing I can think of is the NCAA Final Four.
No. I don't know why they would play it during that time.
During the national championship game?
Maybe. I doubt
It's
it,
a
though.
college basketball tournament is huge.
It should have been during the Super Bowl. Let's be honest, because I honestly was looking forward.
I'm actually shocked now that I'm thinking about it. With a June 5th release, if June 5th is the release date,
would have been perfect.
It makes no sense that it wasn't. So
yeah, when is Deadpool come out?
But it is a Disney Plus show, so I don't know.
Yeah.
When does the one with Jude Law come out? You know what I'm talking about?
Skeleton Crew.
Skeleton Crew. Does that come out this year too?
I don't think so now, because if they have Acolyte and they have Andor, there's no room.
They're pushing. I don't know.
Mandalorian Pursuit video game is in development. Now, I love the concept of a Mandalorian video game. They're talking about it being a shooter-esque and a fast-moving, because you're going to use jetpacks and certain other things that the Mandalorians use. It is not an open-world game. I'm kind of disappointed by that, because I love open-world games. And I was only thinking of it because I was playing this the other day. How cool would it be to have a Mandalorian-esque game in the style of like Sniper Elite?
Yeah, I want like a third-person shooter. Third-person shooter all day, every day. I'm in for it. Like literally, if you can give me that and like some kind of, I'd rather be open world, but like if you can't, it makes sense because they have Outlaws coming out, and Outlaws is so open world. Like, why would you not take one of your most popular characters and put that character in an open world segment? Like, people will go crazy for that.
Oh yeah,
they're already poo-pooing on the character that you got to use in Outlaws, and you can't.
But it's an unknown character, right? Like in Outlaws, like it's just a
people want
random character.
I
want to create my character.
Yeah, I want to create my own character too.
Yeah,
especially I got an open world game. Why not? You know,
of course. Just like when we play golf, my character kind of looks
like you. Yeah.
That's what we all do. That's what we all do.
Me too. Bucket hat and all.
Yeah, I want to be one of the only black dudes in the open world universe of Star Wars. Like, give me that in. Like, I want to be the Finn and Lando. Come on, man. Let's put my face out there. What else?
So, Star Wars Visions picked up 2 anime award wins. You had Screecher's Reach, to where they picked up the best direction in TV and media. That one is definitely a Studio Ghibli look to it. I don't know if they're actually the studio that made it, but
that Screecher's Reach was one of the best ones. Like, I thought that shit was really good.
It was sad.
It was sad, but it was really. I thought it had a really good arc to it. I thought it was really
good. It did. Yeah. And then I don't know if it's pronounced Ayu song. They picked up the best music in TV and media. I mean, I like kind of stop motion animation. I love the kind of the texture feel of that one, but it was a little too stop motion jerky. But again, I like when they give us something a little different. I don't need it to always be the same. Yeah. It's always fun.
Yeah. Cool.
So congratulations. Yep. And this is the best thing.
Wait. We're gonna get to that because I got some stuff I want to talk about as well. There were, in the collectible world, there were a couple pieces that were released this week. There was actually one by a custom company. They're called Dream Scale Models.
Oh, that's beautiful.
They released a 1/40th scale the katana which is Jabba's barge.
A 1/40th scale.
Beautiful piece, like
Oh.
beautiful. Seen the reviews on it online. Guy reviewed it on YouTube. Thing was Collector's Table. Did a hell of a review. It's a beautiful piece. Like,
so
Nuts.
how big is that? Like, what are the dimensions?
dimensions
This is
are
the
the
quarterly.
width 28 inches, height is 13, and the depth is 10.
All right.
Beautiful scale, and the price not bad.
3.5 feet.
Not bad in euros. 799 in
2.5
euros.
feet.
We say hello.
2.5 feet. Didn't Hasbro do this?
Yeah, but it's a toy. This is more resin. Like, this is a resin scale,
Right,
model.
but how big was Hasbro's? I mean, this being only 2.5 feet.
I mean,
less.
I'd rather have this than the Hasbro one, to be honest. I like the base. I like the cleansiness. It's like a museum scale. It's on a base.
I got you.
I'm kind of actually I actually might pull the trigger on this one, to be honest. I'm really contemplating on it.
See,
you have room, Sean, for all this?
Yes, because I remember I'm getting rid of
I know you're getting rid of a lot of other stuff.
Rid of stuff. So now all my ships are going to be on this end, and then all my statues are going to be on this end.
You know what you need? You need a rotating, rotating desk area.
Rotating house.
So you, as you're sitting and recording, like everything kind of just starts turning around.
Oh,
you need to be on a turntable with your computer, like your desk.
Oh, that'd be dope as shit.
Every week, just shift it by like 20 degrees, so we get a different backdrop behind you. See new stuff.
It's a beautiful piece, man, and I think I'm really kind of paying on pulling the trigger. $450 down for the pre-order, and then you pay something a month for the next 3 months. It's not a bad pickup, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I'm really contemplating on this one.
It's beautiful. Now, I'm not a collector to this, but what Lil was saying is that I'm thinking, because again, action figures were always my passion as a kid. I would love to have a very detailed version of that, but like the G.I. Joe flag, like a giant size sail barge. I mean, I would never get it. I don't have a space for it, but that would be awesome to have as a kid.
Hey, you got space for it. Get out of here. I ain't trying to hear that. Yeah, you full of shit on that
I
one.
see all that empty space
I
behind you right now.
I got a lot of empty
got more space
wall.
than me. And the good people over at Regal Robot released this awesome Phil Tippett Legacy Edition and actually Signature Edition Wampa. Actually, which is almost sold out, this is the Legacy Edition. But let's see. Do I pull it up? Yep, there it is. And that is from Empire Strikes Back. They originally had made actually a life-size model puppet of it, but it didn't work. So Phil Tippett and his crew ended up making a smaller version that they only used in like a couple seconds of that scene when the Wampa attacked Luke. This is what they used.
Yeah, that's the image right there that we get.
So Regal Robot went around and they actually went to the Lucasfilm archives and pulled scans from it, and they built a fucking Wampa. They built,
wow,
yeah, beautiful piece.
Are you getting this?
No, I'm not like, because I'm so invested in like kind of like building up the ships and some other stuff. I don't think I need
the prop replica.
I know, man. It's a tough one. Like I want it, but I don't need it. And it's very big. It's like 13 inches tall and 19 inches wide.
Yeah, that's a hefty price tag too.
It's very hefty, man. I mean, granted, hefty in a way because it's a down payment. Like you're putting money down on it, and you're paying on it each month. So you end up paying maybe like $180, maybe $100 a month for the next 12 months. You know,
but how cool would that be sitting right behind you over your shoulder right there, just a giant Wampa?
I mean, the detail is great. I don't know. It's a beautiful piece. It really is. Like, I mean, that's huge.
Does it come with those figures too?
No. If you're a real collector, you already have them. But again, great piece though. I mean, again, Phil Tippett signed everyone, made little sketches of everything. Like, that's dope.
That's
You know?
nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So Riga, if you didn't get it, it's almost gone. But that is the legacy edition. There's a signature edition too that actually is not. It's not this. It just has just a signature on it. So it's a cool piece though. And I also got this week. Actually, it was last week, but I got a signed sketch from the original artist who actually did the ILM Boba Fett ship model. Cool sketch.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Slave One.
Yep. And this is by Nilo Radis Jamiro. Again, one of the original guys who actually developed the Slave One. Really, really cool piece. This is going to go with my studio scale MYC model when that comes in the next couple months. And I think it's with a signed plaque as well. So definitely cool. And if you have not gotten a chance to check out my review on the Captain Rex helmet, it is a review on our YouTube page, Stargeekz. Got some high numbers on that one, so really, really good. I want to thank the new subscribers who actually subscribed and actually got a chance to check out that review. And I thank you guys for liking and appreciating that. So really, really cool. I'm actually working on a new review of a ship that is out of this world. It's a studio scale ship. It's gonna be cool. My review will be probably coming out this week. So that is it for news, gentlemen.
It's a lot.
So
Bad Batch.
News. Now let's get into, I guess, our review of the Bad Batch. Season, what are we? Season 3, episode 1 and 3.
Final season.
Yeah. And you didn't have any? Did you have the? You didn't have the names of the what you call it? Did you?
No, I figured the names of each episode.
Yeah.
I have the name of them, but I didn't create a slide.
No, no worries. I'm pulling it up. The first episode of the. Well, let me ask you guys first. What did you think of the whole episodes? All episodes all together. Like, what was like? Did you get like a feeling of like, oh, we're back in it again, or?
I did, but my opinion of these 3 episodes is they were a little too long. And they are, I felt season 1 to me felt more, and I'm not saying like in a bad way, right? But like it felt like it could have, it was more for a general audience, right? Like it could have my kids would have watched it with me and everything. They came in my room when I was watching it, and they kind of looked at it, and it kind of was a bit boring.
Really?
I want to say especially episode 1, and then a good chunk of beginning of episode 2 before we'll get to spoiler, the breakout. It kind of, and I get it because they're trying to show you a sense of time.
Yes, definitely time, because
Omega was there, like all this stuff that she was going through. You get that shot with the marks on the wall, all these different things. But I felt
he was there.
I felt it was a little long, especially because they did drop 3 episodes in a row. So I'm watching these back to back to back.
Yeah,
and it felt like it didn't move fast enough for like an hour and a half combined of an animated. Like you almost have an animated movie time. And like we only got to like, not even probably a quarter of the story that's being told. I mean, that's just my opinion is more to the outsider. You guys are the Uber fans. I'm looking at it a little differently.
We are, because we probably broke it down, wrote notes and everything else.
Right. I was just watching it to be entertained, and I'm like, I mean, I like seeing, I like being back, but it's like, and I think we'll get into it more, but it felt something was missing as well.
I think this season is gonna, how Filoni writes these damn Clone Wars and Rebels. This will be probably the darkest season of all the seasons. Like this, always the last season, he always gets dark, and everything begins to merge together of what everything is. And actually, these 3 episodes kind of give us a little bit of foreshadowing of what
Well, this is
is to come.
development episode 9. This is what this thing is trying to clean up.
It is really a little
You
bit
know, like
that shit, boy.
Clone Wars and Rebels were doing a real big the heavy lifting to that prequel trilogy, right? Like they were doing a lot of heavy lifting, and then Rebels was building a bridge
Mhm.
to the original trilogy, and Mando laid some seeds, because we got some things where it looked like Snoke and all these other little things here and there, and kind of like the building of the First Order here. I mean, it slapped you in the face in episode 3, like, oh, the what do they call the M? What did they say, the in the blood that the M?
Oh, the M
whatever.
count.
M count. Yeah, I was like,
Oh,
okay.
midichlorian counts.
You don't want to say
Mhm.
midichlorians because, like, I think everyone's eyes would glaze over
It's like,
if you said
oh,
midichlorians.
no.
But
They really did. I didn't even think about it. They really did avoid that fucking midichlorian word. Like, that's fucking weird as shit. Like, they did not want to say it. Like, the M count. It
But
makes it
M
sound
count.
a lot better, but
M
yeah, and
count
you
was also
clearly
used in Mando, so it's not the
yeah,
first time.
that's
it's been
true.
used.
They did that, and that's Filoni's thing, right? Like
Yeah.
he's going to say M count. He doesn't want to go down that road, but this is clear. I mean, like the Emperor even saying it, like everybody's going to think this is an abomination what you're doing here, but they don't see the future. This is the future of the Empire. And I'm like, all right, I know what you're trying to clean up.
Yep.
of course, which is
Damage
great.
control.
I'm glad it's cleaned up. And I mean, we can go through little bits and stuff like that of episode 1, and I enjoyed episode 1. It was a slow burn, though. It was a slow burn.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I see a little point as far as it being very slow and drawn out. For me, I don't notice it as much because I am so now vested in these characters that I hang on every bit of it. So I kind of like this build up because I mean, I'm looking, and as we've said with other things we've watched and reviewed, you can't really take 3 episodes of an entire season and basically grade it or judge it or score
it's
it.
why I didn't give it a
So-
grade, because I agree with you. You can't, right? Because you don't know
No.
where the go. Because if they would have made it like a micro movie as part of this, where we got to a point where it was kind of a finality of this little arc, then maybe. But they did it like it's
No.
completely cliffhanger. We're still got a lot of things going. People are lost in the galaxy trying to. It's. I'm very curious. Because this is a big galaxy, right? Supposedly, yet it's not.
Yep. Everybody knows everybody. But
so
I could see why they dropped all 3 though, because there is a lot of connective tissue with these 3 to where I don't think it would not make sense to release them individually.
If they did episode 1 by itself, I really think it would have lost a portion of the audience.
I agree because
people wouldn't follow week to week.
Say it again.
People wouldn't follow it week to week. Like Steve talked about it a lot here, right? Like, I'm going to wait until it's all dropped and then I'm going to binge it.
Yeah.
And if you dropped episode 1, I'm telling you right now, I there's a good chance I would have been like, guys, next week I'm busy. Like, I can't. I already tried to cram this in. Like, this was boring. But no, I wouldn't have done that. But I'm just,
I agree. I agree because there was a moment with the girl's name
Omega.
Yeah, I forgot Omega and that dog, and then like it played into 3 episodes. So it was like if you would have got that one fucking episode, we'd have been like, well, what the hell? Like, what was all that about?
Yeah.
And I like the dog. I like that whole thing, but
I did too.
Again, like all these things that they you know what I felt like? I was watching a Christopher Nolan cartoon where everything was so drawn out and like completely explained. Like, she had to go get the medicine, she had to do this, all this stuff, and I'm like, yo, like we need to speed this up a bit.
I agree a little. Like they did drag that thing out. Like they was just like, oh, we're gonna just drag this part of, oh, we're gonna pick up she's gonna make a little doll in episode 2. I'm like, well, why? Like, wait, what? Like, this is what we doing with her? And it was just, I think I to be honest, I think on Mount Tannis, it was just because we were stuck in one area that whole time in episode 1. I think they wanted to get the perspective from her view and how she viewed everything. So then it opened up everybody else. Because I honestly, I love the crosshair shit. Like, I really did like his angle and where, like, yo, he's starting to break down. And I thought that was really, really cool to see him at his worst. Like, yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was on edge with Crosshair, to be honest. This whole 3 episodes, I was like, he may not make it out of this one. Like, and when it all comes to the end, I'll save it, but I don't think motherfuckers is coming out of this one. Like, real shit.
Well, even your feel for the whole first episode, I mean, the title of it is Confined, and you feel confined through the entire episode. You're stuck in the Imperial facility, in the cell, in a prison. I mean,
I agree.
It makes you feel like you're in the prison with her.
Yeah. I mean, I get where he was going with it. It's just, it is a cartoon, right? And you need to grab a bigger audience. And I don't know if this did. I think this one started off tough.
Really?
Like, not tough in the good way that the young people use it. Tough, like tough to keep up with.
I agree, but I'm gonna tell you right, this wheel clock thing right here in episode 3, that shit was tough. Like, the way they played that thing, I was like, ooh.
Well, because you're waiting for the blood. It's like a
you're
clock,
waiting
right?
for it. Yeah, you're just like, oh,
it's the ticking clock. It's a literal clock right there that it's ticking each time a blood test is being done.
Yeah,
waiting for midnight. It's coming.
Yeah, that's
so. And I didn't mind the other doctor that was that was also a clone. I kind of thought that she would have maybe taken more of a turn because you saw her like give her back her doll, but still then stopped her. So it's like, I don't want to say I was disappointed, but it made sense. Like,
gave her the opportunity to go back to her cell.
Yeah. So that ended there a little. I mean, Ed, did you have any highlights from that first episode? Like, anything that kind of caught your eye?
I'm interested to see if they give us any explanation because of the patch they all have on their shoulder. It's, I guess, a clone patch because it's Omega has it, the Doctor has it, Dr. Pershing from Mando, he wore it. The clone cadets from Camino all had it on their shoulder. So it doesn't designate that you are a clone, I don't think, because I saw some of the other people in the corridors with it. So is this just like you're part of the cloning program? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I was just curious how that ties in together. Dr. Hemlock, he's evil, but he's awesome.
I like him as a villain.
Yeah, his delivery is fantastic.
Yeah. This is episode 2. This is Paths Unknown. This is where we get back to Wrecker and Hunter, and like they're on their mission to again to try to find Omega and I guess Crosshair at this point, I would assume. And they're in this other world. I don't even know where this is, to be honest. But one of the characters that did come back was Roland from episode 1, I think. And he got his horn cut off from the Pikes. And this was the same Pike that cut his horn off. So this character right here.
Yeah.
So yeah, that came back to fruition. And I mean, he ended up telling them where to go and where they were. And then, they go on their little mission. And, Hunter is really, he's in his feelings. Like, he's hurt right now.
Oh, yeah.
So, do
you think we get any more with the Durand Syndicate with Roland and his mother, Lady Essa? Or do you think that was just kind of a flash and we'll never see them again? Or will they?
Yeah, I think so. That probably maybe if we might come back and revisit it. I don't know. I don't care. Like
How
I want
how
this
many
to
episodes is this season? 13.
I don't have the
I
list
think
anymore.
13. I think
Yeah.
13. It was about 13
I don't
episodes.
know. I don't know if they have the time because
don't think
I
so.
don't know where in the story, unless they go back to them for some other aid. I don't see it, right? Like, because his sister was
15,
the queen, right?
15,
Like
15
His-
episodes. Low.
15 episodes.
His mom.
Is that his mom? I couldn't
Yep.
remember.
Yeah, it was his mom.
Okay.
So then that just kind of makes me think, and I don't know if you guys care about this one way or the other. When we saw Roland, it made me think of that episode when he kind of went on shoot, I'm trying to remember the planet. Ord Mandel and took over the kind of back alley thing for shoot, I'm drawing a blank on the girl's name who ran the place.
I don't know her name.
Yeah.
Oh,
I want them to go back since she double crossed them, and I know
And
this
she-
is dark, and I want them to kill her. She's got to pay for the double cross. It
they
just-
might pay a bounty hunter to do it.
yeah, something.
What was her name? Like Roland or something? I can't even remember her name.
No,
Earl. She was like
It was
sounds
a-
like Earl.
it was a very short one-syllable name,
Butch. I can't
Maz or something like that. Kaz. So
So they land on this planet, and like it was an old research facility that the Empire just dropped shit off and tested and left some crazy shit there. And honestly, I actually kind of thought you would have liked this episode.
Well, this was, I think, the best out of the three. I thought
See?
this was a better episode.
I figured you would because it had a very horror element to it.
It did. It did.
Not a horror element, a horror element.
Horror. Yes. It's kind of a creature feature type thing. You know, you got the, what do they call it? Was it the vines?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Now-
They had a name for it, but
Real quick,
I like
real
the
quick.
kids. You know,
Yeah, the kids were actually from season 1.
Yeah.
And those were the young clones, the regs, I guess the young clones that were there. Clearly they all died. Clearly, there were like 8 of them. Now they're down to like 3. So clearly that was not a good look.
this made me think of that episode or two from Andor when they kind of flash back to that mining planet where all the adults died and you just had the tribe of kids. Kind of Lord of the Flies. It's the first thing I thought of. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. Shit, damn.
So
Yeah, that was a yeah. I mean, it ain't the same thing, but that actually would have been cool.
Yeah.
But so I mean, they go on this whole little adventure. You know, this is one of those, like, it's weird, like one of those side episodes, but it's not really. It's kind of really all in the same thing. But I really enjoyed this episode when it got to like the creepy shit. Like it got like alien-esque kind of like face huggers came out, and like it kind of got me there for a second. When it jumped out, I was like, oh shit, like I wasn't expecting the jump out. It hit me with a little jump scare. I was like, oh whoa. But it was cool though. It had that. I know, though. Listen, you know, I'm not.
I know you get scared easily. I know.
Yeah,
That's why we got to cuddle with a blanket at the movie theater.
Yeah, come on, man. You know that, man. Come on, man.
it was dark though. I mean,
it
visually
was
dark.
Yeah, and that was probably one of the things that I don't want to say like bothered me. It's just like I'm watching it, and sometimes you gotta squint, and I'm like, man, come on, like you have some really good scenes in here, like lighten this up. Let me see the artwork here. But I get what they were going for. They were going for that mood. They were going for the darkness, the jump scare.
Yeah, they definitely that. Like that was.
But
crazy.
again, it felt like an episode where it was cool, but it got us nowhere. You know, they got intel to go to this abandoned thing to find more intel to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how many times are we gonna play this game, man? This is even it's just Filoni loves doing this stuff. It's like, I'm going to go find this piece of this puzzle. Oh, there's nothing there in this puzzle, so I'm going to go look for this other piece of this puzzle. Now I'm going to go over here. And again, it's like I'm looking at this and I'm like, it felt like filler when I don't want filler when you're trying to get me to the end of the story.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it was, yeah. But well, you know how this animation thing is. You know they're gonna have them filler episodes where it's just like, why are we doing this? Like, why is this? Why are we off the beaten path? Okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
You know,
You take a whole episode to basically justify their search and to kind of show how
But we
the
know
character.
their search.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the thing. Like
yeah,
we
you got a
know,
whole episode for it.
we know what's gonna happen. Like I guess I look at it this way: like episode 1, because of just the drawn outness and the monotony of following Omega doing her daily routine.
Mhm.
Like you could have cut that down. You could have cut this down and made it one episode. You know, because I think the first episode was still like 37 minutes or something like that. It was like a longer
Yeah.
episode. Like
Yeah.
you could have put both these stories in there, and then given us all the characters where they're at in episode 1.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't know.
I
Maybe I'm looking for the more economical. You know, you guys know me. We've talked about this many times. I'm not a TV. I'm not a TV guy. Like I hate long drawn out stuff. Like just give me the story, give me the good stuff. I prefer cinematic. I prefer going, the movies. But
oh yeah, we know.
But
I did like this Sarlacc-esque scene, and they
I was gonna say, I like the bombs. I like them going. We need bigger. The kids pushing the whole trunk of bombs. I thought that was really cool.
I thought that was great. I was like, oh, cool.
How easy is it to steal a starship? Does nobody lock the door?
Clearly.
It's clearly.
I mean, that was, what was it? Mission 72 or whatever.
Yeah, Plan 72.
Plan 72. Yeah, I was like, well, clearly everybody knows how to do this. So.
Yeah, well, at least that one, you left the ship running. But this one, you parked it way off in the distance. Did you not lock the door? I mean, I parked my car at the mall. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to lock it as I leave. You're not going to say, it's good. Like, what the hell?
So episode 3, Shadows of Tantus,
goes back to just the Omega-centric episode.
Oh, my God. You go right back into it again. I mean,
and again, more beginning monotony for a while. You know what I mean? Like
you're right. It was beginning. It's like they need all this explanation, and I get it, but I guess they're trying to tell us something, and they did. They did tell us something. They did. They told us that. Listen,
but they told us in the first one too that they've been testing her. Like they were testing her. And you know that I can't remember the alien's name that the one, the clone one was throwing away her blood was so she wouldn't be
Nalika. Is it
Nalasu?
Nalasu, yeah, Nalasu.
Yeah. So I like that. I like that aspect of it, right? And then I like her telling her, like, hey, when she tests his blood, you need to go because
they're coming for you.
Yeah,
they're coming for you. Now, again, I love the Emperor. Like, listen, the way he pulled up like a G with his 2 Crimson Guards, I thought that was dope. Like, again, Ian McDermott playing the Emperor,
so good. The music,
awesome. Like, I thought this was great. Like, I love the Emperor. Like, this works. This works.
Yes,
I agree. This works.
The whole thing works. And then like him walking into his shit, like this was, I guess everybody's like, this was a funny scene, I guess, when she kicked the little droid, but whatever.
Oh, the mouse droid, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's like, nope, let me give you the boot, you stay out. And the mouse droid was pissed.
Yeah. This is where Omega begins to plan her escape that really isn't a really good escape. Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, this fucking Macquarie-esque helmet, though. These Macquarie.
I was gonna say I like these helmets. I was actually surprised, and I'm like, ooh, they better release these.
They're not, though. I don't think they are.
Why wouldn't they?
I think
they're really cool.
I think the design may be a little tough for them to kind of come up with. Like, I can see another fan made company coming out because they have. Came out with them before, but I don't see anybody else coming out with them. I think EFX had did them originally. They had did a Vader helmet. I think they were beginning to do one, but the Stormtrooper one, but it never happened.
I liked how I like the
I
design
agree.
here.
I agree. I would love to have one of those helmets, like literally, but we ain't getting it. Now,
Yeah.
Crosshair's, he's starting to catch on to the shit and step his game up a little bit, which is good. And he's coming to the aid of Omega, which is I didn't think was gonna happen right away, but I'm kind of glad it did. So
Yeah, I was actually curious. You know what? Like, not to say that I thought he would do a heel turn here, but I thought if that was always a possibility. Like,
yeah, he would come back.
he still has that programming. He's still kind of, he's not perfect. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Do you think that the handshake is foreshadowing something? I mean, is he physically and mentally breaking down? Is it,
Or is it in his head?
I don't know. That's what I'm just. I mean,
Remember, they're only programmed to live for a certain amount of time. So
right, and you figure that Clone Force 99. I mean, there's something wrong, a malfunction that made them what they are. So will they degrade faster than regular clones? Or are we going to look for them all to basically reach their demise sooner than the rest?
Or is there going to be something with Omega's blood that's going to help them because she's so unique?
Yeah, because what's funny? This doctor lady right here, she's gonna turn good. It's all for we can all see it, right? Like, I mean,
well, that's what I said. I thought she was going to help them escape, but then she read them out. So I'm like, I don't know where she's at. Maybe down the line, maybe when push comes to shove at the end, because I could definitely see here Crosshair sacrificing himself for the team.
I can totally see
he's gonna make the big sacrifice at the end of this.
Yeah, I can see it too.
It just makes sense, like, because he is already kind of beaten down. He's escaped and everything, but like I think he's gonna, this season is the redemption arc, and then this is the perfect thing for the sacrifice right at the end.
He'll jump in the way of the shot for Omega.
This part here is all the Emperor cloning himself.
This is somehow Palpatine has returned. Here you
go. Project Necromancer.
Yeah.
Here you go, Poe Dameron.
We must all watch Screen Crush. But I mean, honestly, like, there's moments where you want to see what the hell is in that damn thing. Like, what is in there? I gotta know.
It's gonna be a baby him. It's all curled up. It'll be from it would be hilarious if they had like a body of his, but like with like the face like cut from Phantom Menace plastered on there of Victor. It's just like a live action face. Like something like Rick and Morty would do,
Yeah, I'm about to say the same shit. It's like some fucking Rick and Morty shit. I can totally see that.
I would die. I would be like, this is the greatest show ever made.
So they make their escape out, and like this was.
What was that bear thing? I was like,
I don't know.
Where did that thing come from?
Remember when the ship went down and he said that it was in Sector 4 and that it was out of the range of the killer dogs that they've created? And he's like, oh, no. Whatever's out there, they're dead. So they knew that there were creatures out in the woods that were.
Oh, it was that thing right there.
So that's part of it. But of course, then the dogs went after it. So,
Yes, thank God.
Canceled each other out.
Yeah.
And I liked her dog. I liked that he came with.
I did, and she took him with him. Like, that was cool. I thought.
I liked when the ship got hit. Like, it ran into a corner and like cowered, like a dog like during a thunderstorm. Like it's just kind of hid in the dark.
Well, they had to give the dog personality, because if they didn't give it personality, then why would they have the dog with them? Like, it's now the dog is a friend now.
Yes. Well, and it's a plush toy coming out soon.
Oh, it's coming. It's gonna be Omega and that dog toy.
The dog's name, Batcher. as
Batcher.
part of the Bad Batch.
Right.
So I'm like, that's awesome. You're part of the batch. You're a batcher.
Toys and plush, done.
Yes.
That was easy.
Hot Toys big scale Badger. There you go.
Oh man, I tell you, I do like these troopers though with the blue.
Yeah, I missed that video game.
Yeah, really, really cool. This is where I mean, he can't shoot for shit, but like, it worked for what he needed it. I actually liked what Omega did in this. She shot the trooper in the face. Like, I thought that was dope as hell. I was like, oh, okay, Omega, like you stepping your game up a little bit. You got a little tight, and pause. But again, she did her thing, man. Like I thought this was a great episode. I thought it was a good episode, escape episode. Again, that counting clock, man. I love that. Yeah. I just loved it. I loved it. So it was that was a great little piece, a little side thing to have in there. And again, it worked. So that was it.
My questions when it comes to Omega. So Nala Se knew from the very beginning that Omega was special and would fit what's going on here. Now, if we kind of go backwards in time and think that she's one of the first clones created by the Kaminoans, like, this is the chicken and the egg thing. Did the Emperor have anything to do with this? Was this the Kaminoans kind of happening to, as they're experimenting to create the clone army? Like, where does this really fall into play?
That's a good question. I mean,
yeah,
I'm gonna say that it was happenstance, right? Like it,
like that,
because the amount of times they've cloned things or they experimented, like they created the perfect being. This is Adam. This is the perfect being in Omega, and then after that, nothing else could be replicated. I am curious to see like what sample was used,
and so Nala Se knew that she would fit the match as far as the M count,
right?
So with that,
was it from a Jedi? Was it from
That's the question. So did the Kaminoans, because you figure early on, they didn't know who they were building this army for. They were building it for the Jedi. So was she an early experiment to say, hey, you know what? The Jedi are reaching out because they want us to build this army for them, this grand army for the Republic. What if we could actually create more Jedi through cloning? We're going to build them this army. Let's try this on the side so we've got another item to sell them later on. But it never went there because it ultimately wasn't the Jedi. But they knew that she was special, and that's why Nala Se is like, no, you stay by me the entire time. And then, of course, as it builds up, and the Emperor now is like, okay, now I want to clone a group of clones, not to make Jedi, but to make more of me. But I'm force sensitive that all of a sudden Nala Se is like, oh crap, we created what he wants, but I can't let them know.
I don't know.
It's
the story is going to play itself out to that.
That is interesting because all the clone troops that they had, right? Like when we see Attack of the Clones, they're all matured, right? Like they're already there. So they've been working on this project for a long time. And I don't know if a Jedi would have provided a sample. So I'm curious how they would have do that, right?
The Jedi didn't. The initial sample was Jango Fett.
Right.
But
how did they get but that's what I'm saying. Like how do they get the Omega sample, right? Like
I don't know.
Is it just through happenstance, right? Because the Force is with whatever.
I agree.
Nala Se knew this whole time. Nala Se knew exactly what she was the whole time, which would have gone back to the initial creation of the clone army.
Yeah.
Damn.
Unless they got a sample from maybe it was Palpatine before he was, maybe he provided something. I don't know. It'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
You guys are real nerds. I just want to let you guys know.
Nerds. But no, it's a good.
No, it's good as shit. It's like I'm like, yeah, damn, like for real, like yeah, you kind of think about it. You're like, well,
because you initially think Omega, right, is from the Django sample, right?
Yeah, that's what I originally.
But maybe she's not.
I don't think
even
she
though
is.
they all kind of do look, they have similar features, but they're different features.
I bet there's a story. There's got to be some kind of little story to that. There has to.
We might find out here. Maybe we'll find out here. Maybe
unless, but where did they again? Like you said, where did they get that? So she was so forced.
Yeah.
Like,
and how did they know from the beginning?
Dude, they're gonna have to tell that story, dude, because there's something there. Like,
you know what? I'm gonna say it's a young Anakin.
But where do they?
One, because Anakin, it could just be, hey, Palpatine was with Anakin the whole time, right?
Yeah, but this clone army was started a long time ago. 10 years before.
But they age differently, right? Don't they grow differently to get them? They're not aging as like Jango Fett would have aged.
No, the Regs and Clone Force 99, they're double. They're sped up, so they're aging at twice the rate. So if they're 10 years old, they're actually seem like they're 20. You figure Boba is just like Omega in that they're aging at normal pace.
Yeah, because that's what Jango asked for.
Unaltered.
Yeah.
So she is not sped up. So basically, she's the same age as Boba Fett.
So you know the real weird question about all this,
right? And we saw Boba Fett as like a 10-year-old, maybe around there, maybe younger. I don't know how old he was in Attack of the Clones.
Is Rey a clone? Like, are her parents clones? Like, did Palpatine have who's Palpatine's wife? Like,
you don't need a wife to make your clone.
I think the way that it's described
but like he had a son. Am I right?
Right, because he could be knocking boots and not be married.
That's something else I want to know. Like, where did that all come from?
And then you can
know
also
what he's doing on his free time. He's hanging out.
I guess, or is he cloning? He's just constantly cloning. Cloning.
Or is he working on again the dark magic force ability to create life? Because that's what they think is what happened with Anakin.
Yeah.
Can you manipulate the force to create life?
So many questions that have not been answered, and I'm curious to know them.
I don't think they'll ever be answered.
Well, they're not gonna be answered in this Bad Batch because we got a whole different thing going on here.
So, if it's Anakin, is it did somehow that little blood sample that Qui-Gon took that he sent over to Obi-Wan to measurement? Was that blood sample then somehow transferred to the Kaminoans?
Well, right, because at that point it was all part of the Republic, right?
Yeah.
And that
is when the clones would have started. Because
that's exactly what I was thinking of. Like at that moment, like Palpatine was there. He met young Anakin at that point. So like
sends him a blood sample.
Why wouldn't he? If you had this blood sample to test his midichlorians, why wouldn't Palpatine be like, "Yo,
check this out. Send that over to them."
But this is all happened. This is all happened after the Clone Wars. Yeah, it's all after the Clone Wars.
This is all right now we're after the Clone Wars, but I'm saying this all happened This all happened
10 years. Yeah, this happened 10 years before the Clone Wars. Because
this is before the Clone Wars, so this is before he got all his messed up. Like I keep looking at his face, and I'm like, oh, is it messed up now? But I guess
no, he just has the cloak on.
I forgot he's Sidious. Yeah. Oh, fucking shit.
I'm saying he has his face messed up.
Yes,
in Bad Batch because it was after his fight.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, because he got his face messed up by Mace Windu.
Yes, this is after
This is after
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's after Order 66.
66. That's right. That's okay. Damn, I'm all fucked up. Like y'all got me all confused because I'm going back. I'm going back to episode 1 or 2. I'm like, wait a minute, this is like where.
Yeah,
I gotta.
I think I will make a bold prediction saying this is Anakin's blood.
So
That they
as opposed
got
to the
from-
Jedi who ordered them, Sifo-Dyas? No.
because I don't know him.
Random Jedi.
Jedi syphilis. I have no idea. Yeah, exactly.
Gross. I don't want to see that Jedi. That guy was bad.
But I think it would make sense, right? Because again, this is all still Skywalker lineage kind of line.
Why would make a lot of sense if they had fucking Anakin's hand and they were just using that shit.
Oh,
Yeah, but he lost that too late.
It's in a fucking lab and they're just fucking.
He lost that too late. But you know what, though? They could have been using that later on. Maybe that's why Snoke was deformed, right? Like that's why they maybe could have never got a perfect clone because they kept trying. They were trying for Grogu's blood. Like this is the same storyline as Mandalorian, basically, because they were trying to get Grogu's blood because they were trying to get
more
Omega's
sensitive.
blood.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, now we didn't put it all together. Now it all comes together.
Actually, I'm thinking about this too. Like, why is he looking for this? Why didn't he just take some of Vader's blood and say, hey, Darth, give me some blood?
Yeah, man.
Let me
Well,
try to
he's
clone
more
you too.
machine than man now.
He still has blood, but you're right.
Twisted and evil.
Listen,
I don't know.
we said it all.
Deep.
Season
We went too
3
long.
opening, episode 1, 2, and 3. We didn't unpack a lot of shit. So listen, I appreciate you guys. Listen, I only want to keep this under an hour because I know you got stuff to do. I guess we're gonna be here next week talking about episode 4.
We are. And also, please join us on Saturday for our 10-year
I was about to
anniversary.
mention
10
Yes.
years
Wow.
that we've been doing podcasts and now YouTube
And-
and all that kind of stuff.
10 years, man. We've been doing this shit for 10.
Yeah.
That's probably older than a lot of kids.
So when
No.
you guys started is when they started producing clones, and now it's Clone Wars.
Basically. I mean, a lot has changed in our lives in 10 years.
We started out as a podcast.
Where we were recording via Skype, not even looking at each other. We didn't even realize we could turn our cameras on and look at each other for like 5 years.
They didn't even know I was black. We turned the cameras on. We were like, oh shit, Sean is black. I was like, yeah, I've been black the whole time. Dog. Like, really? Crazy.
I'm not even responding to that comment. When we turned the cameras on, I was also 500 pounds, and I am not that anymore either.
That is crazy because you were. That is deep. You need an old picture. When we record this weekend, you need to have that old picture up.
Pull up the old picture of us together.
Or do that like Jenny Craig thing and show your picture and then show yourself. You're like, hey, this is me.
Or you bring the waist pants.
Yeah, bringing a big pair of pants.
Or I stand in the one leg and I'm like, look at me now.
Oh man, listen.
Yeah.
Thank you guys again. Please like, subscribe, review us, comment, do whatever you got to do. We appreciate it. Thanks to the new subscribers who were subscribed to the show. And check out our reviews and other stuff coming up in the next couple weeks and everything else. This is Sean.
This is Lil.
And this is Ed.
And may the force be with you.
Always.